Welcome to the Psych Ignition. When a Sigma male cuts you out, it's not just a ghosting move or an emotional shutdown. It's something far deeper. These types of men operate on a completely different wavelength, and when they walk away, it's usually swift, clean, and without explanation. It can leave you confused, wondering what you did wrong, or if you missed some obvious sign. But the truth is, Sigma males don't play by the usual social rules. They don't owe anyone closure or the chance for reconciliation. When they decide someone no longer fits into their life, they cut the cord, and they do it in ways that seem sudden, but are often calculated. This introduction won't sugarcoat it. When you get cut off by a Sigma male, it's brutal, direct, and intentional. It's time to face 12 hard truths about why that happens, and it's rarely for the reasons people think. Prepare to see the raw, uncomfortable reality behind their detachment. Let's get started. Number 1. You underestimated his ability to see through you. You might think you're playing it cool, keeping certain parts of yourself hidden, but a Sigma male is far more perceptive than most people give him credit for. He's not interested in surface-level interactions or the version of yourself you present to the world. Instead, he picks up on the smallest inconsistencies, subtle shifts in your behavior, and even the things you don't say. His ability to see through facades is sharp and almost unnerving. The moment he senses that you're not being genuine, whether you're exaggerating, hiding your true intentions, or trying to be someone you're not, he's done. There won't be a confrontation or a dramatic fallout. He'll just quietly distance himself until one day you realize he's completely gone. The brutal part? He won't waste his time figuring out who you really are beneath the mask. He has no patience for peeling back layers or decoding mixed signals. To him, authenticity isn't optional. And if you're not bringing that to the table, he's not sticking around. It's not personal. It's just how he operates. A Sigma male values his time and energy too much to engage with anything that feels like a game. So, if you thought you could keep him guessing, the reality is you didn't just lose his interest, you lost him entirely. This profound perceptiveness is a cornerstone of the Sigma's identity. He navigates the world by reading the subtext, the unspoken language of intention and character. While others are distracted by words, he is attuned to energy and action. Your attempts to curate an image or hide your flaws are not seen as savvy social maneuvering. To him, they are simply noise that obscures the truth he is seeking. When a Sigma male disengages for this reason, it is a final verdict on the interaction itself. He isn't questioning your worth as a person, but he has conclusively determined that the dynamic you offer is built on an unstable foundation. The connection for him was conditional upon a genuine exchange, and once that condition is broken, the entire structure collapses. His silence is not a punishment, it is the logical conclusion of a failed experiment. Number 2. You became a drain on their mental energy. Sigma males treat their mental energy like a precious resource, and they don't let anyone drain it unnecessarily. They're highly selective about where they invest their time and attention, always keeping their focus on things that matter to them. If you start to demand too much, whether it's through emotional outbursts, constant need for validation, or just overwhelming them with your problems, they'll pick up on it fast. The moment a Sigma male feels like you're becoming a drain on his mental bandwidth, he won't stick around to get burned out. He doesn't see the point in maintaining a connection that feels exhausting or one-sided. And here's the thing. He won't even try to fix the situation. He's not going to sit down and have a heart-to-heart about boundaries or emotional balance. Instead, he'll simply detach. One day, you'll realize he's no longer answering your calls, engaging in deep conversations, or offering the same attention he once did. This isn't about him being cold or uncaring. It's about self-preservation. Sigma males understand their own limits better than anyone, and they won't let themselves be dragged down by energy vampires. Once they sense that your presence is taking more from them than it's giving, they'll cut you out without hesitation. It's a matter of survival, not spite. And in their world, protecting their mental clarity always comes first. A Sigma's mind is his sanctuary, a place of complex thought and focused creation. He guards its tranquility with a fierce, unyielding priority. Your presence in his life is granted a certain amount of this sacred space, and he consciously allots energy for it. When your demands, whether emotional, social, or logistical, consistently exceed that allocation, it's not seen as a simple miscalculation. It is viewed as an encroachment, a direct threat to the ecosystem of his inner world. The withdrawal is therefore a defensive protocol, as automatic and necessary as pulling one's hand from a flame. He does not frame this as your fault, but rather as your effect. The outcome is the same regardless. The Sigma male will recalibrate his life to eliminate the deficit, and you will find yourself on the outside of a boundary you never saw him draw. The connection is severed not with anger, but with the quiet finality of a necessary calculation. Number 3. Unreciprocated respect. For a Sigma male, respect isn't just important, it's non-negotiable. He values independence, both in himself and in others, and expects to be treated with the same level of consideration he gives. If he feels disrespected in any way, whether it's through dismissive comments being overlooked or even subtle slights, he won't let it slide. He's not the type to engage in arguments or demand apologies. Instead, he'll quietly cut you out of his life. No drama, no explanations. What makes this even more striking is that you may not realize how much your behavior matters to him. Sigmas rarely advertise their expectations, but they notice everything. If you dismiss his ideas, belittle his efforts, or fail to support him when it counts, it sends a clear message that you don't respect who he is or what he stands for. And once that line is crossed, he won't stick around to explain why he feels disrespected. In his mind, respect should be mutual and effortless. He won't beg for it or fight to be valued. The moment he senses that the respect he offers isn't being returned, he'll make the decision to walk away. Sigma males don't need validation from others, but they demand basic decency. If you fail to give him the respect he deserves, he'll disappear from your life. No second chances. This expectation of respect is the silent currency of all his relationships. A Sigma male operates with a deep-seated code of honor, and he extends a default level of dignity to everyone he meets. This is not earned, it is his baseline. However, he is watching closely to see if you operate on the same frequency. A flippant remark, interrupting him, or dismissing his time as less valuable than your own are not minor social faux pas to him. They are fundamental breaches of protocol. When the balance of respect is broken, the Sigma does not see a point in discussion. To him, explaining the need for basic respect would be to lower his own standards and engage in a debate about his fundamental worth. This is beneath him. His departure is a silent statement that you have failed a test you were never formally given. The door closes not with a slam, but with the quiet, irrevocable click of a finalized judgment. Number 4. He gave you more than one chance and you blew it. Sigma males aren't the type to call you out on every mistake or make a big deal out of your missteps. They observe, wait, and give silent second chances. You might not even realize you've been given an opportunity to make things right, because he won't openly tell you. He'll watch to see if you pick up on your behavior and adjust accordingly. But if you keep repeating the same patterns or show no signs of change, that's when he quietly decides it's over. What's striking about this is how patient he can be. A Sigma male doesn't cut people off impulsively. He understands that people aren't perfect, and he gives room for growth. But once he's seen enough, once it's clear that you're not evolving or respecting the chances you've been given, he won't hesitate to shut the door for good. And when that door closes, there's no coming back. He won't hold a grudge, but he also won't reopen the connection. The frustrating part? You might not even realize you blew it until it's too late. Sigma males don't make grand exits or create dramatic scenes. They simply step away, no explanation needed. You'll be left wondering what happened, but for him, it was a clear decision. You were given more than one chance, and you didn't change. Now he's moved on, and there's no re-entry into his life. This process is a private trial held in the court of his own mind. You are both the defendant and the unwitting witness. The Sigma male establishes a behavioral baseline for those he allows close, and any deviation is noted. The first transgression might be logged as an anomaly. The second is a pattern forming. The third is a confirmed character trait. He is not keeping a scorecard out of spite, but rather compiling data with the cold precision of a strategist assessing an asset. By the time he disengages, the decision is not emotional, it is evidential. The case is closed because the data is conclusive. He has given you ample opportunity, in his view, to demonstrate self-awareness and correction. Your failure to do so tells him everything he needs to know about your compatibility with his world. There is no anger in his exit, only the serene finality of a problem that has been logically resolved and filed away. Number 5. You became part of a background noise. Sigma males thrive on solitude and mental clarity. They don't need constant stimulation or a crowd of people to feel fulfilled. In fact, they prefer their environment to be as calm and focused as possible so they can reflect, create, and evolve. If you start to blend into the background, becoming just another layer of noise in his life, it's a red flag for him. This isn't about you being boring or uninteresting. It's more about how your presence fits into his world. When a Sigma male feels like you've become part of the everyday clutter, it's a sign that your connection no longer holds the depth or significance it once had. He's not someone who tolerates mediocrity in his relationships. If your interactions begin to feel like routine or mindless chatter, he'll quietly recalibrate his life, trimming away anything that disrupts his sense of peace. What's brutal is how effortlessly he does it. There won't be a confrontation or an emotional goodbye. He'll just withdraw, removing you from his life the same way he would turn off a noisy appliance. It's not about anger or resentment. It's simply a matter of preserving his mental clarity. For a Sigma male, keeping his inner world free from unnecessary noise is essential. So when he feels like you've faded into the background, he won't hesitate to cut ties and regain the silence he craves. Every relationship for a Sigma male is evaluated by its signal-to-noise ratio. In the beginning, your presence was a clear, compelling signal, a source of interesting ideas, genuine connection, or stimulating silence. When your interactions degrade into gossip, complaints, or meaningless small talk, the signal fades and is replaced by static. This static is a cognitive pollutant, and the Sigma is highly sensitive to it. He cannot think, create, or simply be with that interference clouding his mental space. His removal of you is therefore an act of hygiene, not hatred. It is the spiritual and mental equivalent of clearing out a cluttered room to make space for meaningful work. You are not deemed a bad person. You are deemed an unnecessary object taking up space that could be better used for solitude, or for a connection that still transmits a clear, valuable signal. He returns to his silence not with loneliness, but with the relief of a man removing a weight he never agreed to carry. Number 6. You values started clashing with his vision. A Sigma male's life is driven by a strong personal vision. He's not just going through the motions. He has a clear sense of direction, a set of values that guide him, and a deep understanding of what he's working toward. If your values start to clash with that vision, he won't hesitate to distance himself. It's not about him being offended or thinking you're wrong. It's simply about alignment. He has no room for relationships that disrupt his focus or pull him off course. You might not even realize when this conflict starts. Maybe it's the way you handle challenges, choosing comfort over growth, or perhaps how you treat others. With a mindset that doesn't resonate with his principles. Little by little, he notices these differences, and, in his mind, the gap between you grows. He's not interested in changing you, nor does he want to be changed. For him, it's a matter of practicality. If your values no longer sync with his, then your paths are naturally diverging. He won't argue about it or try to persuade you to see things his way. Instead, he'll quietly remove himself from your life, preserving his own focus and avoiding unnecessary distractions. In his world, there's no time for forces that pull him off track. So, when your values conflict with his vision, he doesn't see it as betrayal, just an inevitable parting of ways. A Sigma male's vision is his personal North Star. It is the uncompromising compass by which he navigates his entire existence. Every relationship, every commitment is subconsciously evaluated based on whether it helps him sail towards that star or pulls him into turbulent, off-course waters. Your conflicting values don't just represent a difference of opinion, they create a drag on his vessel. The friction may start as a slight resistance, but over time, it demands more and more of his energy to correct his course, energy he would rather spend on sailing itself. Therefore, his departure is a necessary course correction. It is not a judgment on your destination, but a pragmatic acknowledgement that you are sailing toward different horizons. To continue the journey together would require one of you to abandon your own star, a compromise a Sigma male is fundamentally incapable of making. He lets go not with malice, but with the quiet resolve of a captain who must lighten the load to ensure his own ship reaches its destined shore. Number 7. He realized you were living a script, not writing one. Sigma males are fiercely independent, valuing authenticity above all else. They live life on their own terms, constantly questioning norms and shaping their own paths. When they meet someone who seems to be living according to society's scripts, whether it's in their career, relationships, or personal development, it instantly signals a mismatch. It's not that he'll judge you for following the typical path, but he'll quickly realize that your life isn't self-directed. He's not drawn to people who are just going through the motions, doing what's expected without thinking. If he senses you're sticking to societal blueprints instead of writing your own story, his interest will fade fast. For a Sigma, life is meant to be lived with intention, exploring ideas and directions that aren't dictated by external pressures. If you're simply conforming to what everyone else expects, you lose the depth and originality he finds compelling. And here's the brutal truth: he won't try to convince you to change. Sigma males don't have the patience for trying to awaken someone else's sense of individuality. He'll just move on, leaving you behind as he continues to carve out his own unique path. He respects people who are writing their own stories, not just living out someone else's expectations. If you're following a script that doesn't challenge or inspire, don't be surprised when he cuts ties without explanation. To him, life is too short to spend time with someone who isn't fully alive in their own narrative. To the Sigma male, a person living a pre-written script is like a book he has already read. The plot is predictable, the characters are archetypal, and the ending holds no surprise. He craves the dynamic, ever-evolving narrative of a self-authored life, a story filled with original thought, unexpected turns, and the raw authenticity of real choices and consequences. Your adherence to a common template tells him that your story lacks this essential, compelling conflict and resolution. His disengagement, therefore, is not an act of arrogance, but one of literary discernment. He is an avid reader in the library of human connection, and he simply closes a book that fails to capture his intellectual or spiritual curiosity. He isn't angry at the book for its content. He just has no use for it on his personal shelf. He returns you to the general circulation, free to be read by others who appreciate that genre, while he continues his search for rare and unpublished manuscripts. Number 8. He outpaced you and you didn't keep up. Sigma males are driven by constant growth. They're always pushing themselves mentally, emotionally, and sometimes physically. They thrive on challenges and evolution, continuously seeking to improve and refine who they are. While they won't openly compare themselves to others, they are acutely aware of their own progress. If you were part of their journey but started to lag behind, it may not have been obvious at first. He likely kept moving forward, growing and evolving while you stayed in place, comfortable with where you were. The harsh truth? He noticed the gap long before you did. A Sigma male won't drag anyone along on his journey. If he feels like you're not evolving at the same pace, he won't wait for you to catch up. By the time you realize he's outpaced you, he's already mentally moved on. He won't necessarily think less of you, but he'll see it as a natural parting of ways. For him, it's not about superiority, it's about staying true to his path. If you can't keep pace with his relentless personal growth, he'll quietly leave you behind. It's not meant to hurt you, but to preserve his own momentum. Being with someone who doesn't challenge or inspire him feels stagnant, and he can't afford to stay stuck. So by the time you realize he's gone, he's already far ahead, focused on his next chapter. A Sigma's journey is a solitary climb up a mountain of his own choosing. He may enjoy a companion for a stretch, sharing the view and the struggle. But if he is continuously looking back, stopping to wait, or simplifying his own route to match a slower pace, the climb itself loses its meaning. The ascent, the act of overcoming, is the entire point. A partner who cannot or will not match the rigor of the climb becomes an anchor, not an ally. Leaving you behind is not an abandonment. It is him resuming his natural rhythm. He understands that not everyone is built for the same altitude or the same terrain. He holds no ill will for your decision to plateau, but his own destiny calls him ever upward. To pause indefinitely for you would be a betrayal of his own spirit. The silence that follows is simply the growing distance between your comfortable resting place and his relentless ascent. Number 9. He's protecting his peace over pleasing people. For a Sigma male, peace of mind is non-negotiable. While many people stay in relationships out of obligation or guilt, he operates on a completely different wavelength. He understands the toll that unhealthy dynamics can take on his mental and emotional well-being, and he's not willing to sacrifice that for anyone, not even someone he's close to. His priority is always protecting his inner peace, even if it means walking away from people who expect him to stay for the sake of appearances or comfort. You might think that your relationship or connection is solid, but the moment it starts compromising his sense of tranquility, he'll make a swift exit. Sigma males don't deal with drama, manipulation, or emotional turbulence. They value peace over everything else, and if they sense that being around you is more stressful than it's worth, they'll step away without hesitation. This isn't about being cold or detached, it's about self-preservation. A Sigma male knows that pleasing people at the cost of his own mental well-being is a losing game. He won't stay in a situation just to avoid hurting someone's feelings, and he won't let guilt dictate his actions. If he has to choose between protecting his peace and maintaining a relationship, peace will always come first. He knows that in the long run, it's the only way he can stay true to himself. Think of a Sigma's inner peace as a pristine, still lake. Your presence is allowed to ripple across its surface, but if you consistently bring storms, drama, neediness, conflict, you disturb the very essence of what he has worked to cultivate. He will not spend his days calming waters you intentionally or unintentionally agitate. His peace is a sacred ecosystem, and he is its sole warden and protector. He did not create this sanctuary to manage another person's turbulence. Therefore, his departure is an ecological decision. You have been identified as a source of pollution to his inner environment, and you are removed to restore the natural balance. He does this with the clinical efficiency of a surgeon removing a foreign object. There is no emotion in the act, only the necessity of the procedure. He will return to his stillness, and you will be left with the storm you brought, now having to face it alone. Number 10. You try to box him in. Trying to box a Sigma male in is a surefire way to lose him. He's wired to value his autonomy above all else, and any attempt to limit or control that will push him to leave. Whether it's through trying to control his decisions, dictating how he should live his life, or even pressuring him into conventional roles, he'll sense the restriction instantly. To him, this isn't just about setting boundaries, it's about preserving his freedom, which is non-negotiable. He operates on his own terms, and the moment he feels someone trying to steer him in a direction that doesn't align with his sense of self, he'll vanish. He doesn't need confrontation or dramatic exits, he'll just quietly slip away, leaving you to wonder what happened. Freedom for a Sigma male isn't just about avoiding commitments or obligations. It's about having the mental and emotional space to live authentically, without being confined to anyone else's expectations. If you try to label him, box him in, or dictate his path, he'll interpret that as a threat to his independence. And once he feels his autonomy is at risk, he won't stick around to negotiate. Instead, he'll sever ties and protect his sense of freedom at all costs. You won't get a second chance to control him, because in his mind, freedom isn't something to be compromised. A Sigma male's identity is not a fixed point, but a fluid, ever-expanding territory. Your attempts to box him in are like building a fence around a section of this territory and declaring, "This is you." But he is already miles away, exploring new frontiers of his own being. The fence does not contain him. It merely defines the small, confined space you have mistaken for the whole of his existence. He feels the constraint not as a physical barrier, but as a profound misunderstanding of his nature. His escape, therefore, is not a retreat, but a migration. He simply moves his entire being beyond the borders you tried to impose. He does not knock the fence down. He renders it irrelevant by no longer residing within its confines. The silence that follows is the vast, empty space between your limited perception of him and the boundless reality of who he is and where he has gone. You are left holding a box, while he has reclaimed the entire horizon. Number 11. He detected your hidden agenda. Sigma males have an innate ability to pick up on subtle manipulations, even when you think you're being discreet. If he senses that you're not being upfront or notices you have an agenda, he'll cut ties immediately. It's not that he's constantly suspicious or paranoid, but his sharp perception helps him read between the lines. When he spots manipulation, it's game over. To him, manipulation is a form of weakness. It suggests that you don't have the confidence or authenticity to be direct, which is something he deeply values. He doesn't want to navigate relationships where games are being played or hidden motives are at work. A Sigma male seeks straightforwardness in every interaction. And once he detects that you're trying to influence or control him through manipulation, you'll find yourself on the outside, looking in. He won't waste time confronting you about it, nor will he give you a chance to explain. In his mind, if you're willing to manipulate, you've already broken the trust. His decision to sever the connection will be swift and final, with no drama or second chances. For him, it's not about anger or revenge. It's simply a matter of self-respect. He surrounds himself with people who are genuine, and if you've proven otherwise, he'll protect his space and move on, leaving you to reflect on what went wrong. For a Sigma male, trust is not built on promises, but on the consistent absence of a hidden agenda. He operates like a human lie detector, calibrated to the slightest inconsistencies in word, energy, and action. Your hidden motive creates a dissonance, a faint but detectable static in the frequency of your interaction. While others might hear only the primary message, the Sigma hears the background noise of your intention, loud and clear. He may not be able to articulate the precise details of your agenda, but he knows with certainty that the signal is corrupted. Therefore, his dismissal is a quarantine protocol. A person with a hidden agenda is, to him, a carrier of a virus that attacks the very foundation of authentic connection. He will not stick around to diagnose the specific strain or hear its justification. The mere presence of the pathogen is enough. He severs the connection to prevent the infection of his inner world, preserving its integrity for those who interact with a clear and transparent frequency. You are not judged as much as you are identified as a biohazard and removed with corresponding finality. Number 12. You mistook his solitude for loneliness. A Sigma male's solitude is his sanctuary, not a void waiting to be filled. He retreats into his own company to recharge, to think, and to connect with his deepest self. This is a conscious choice, a state of empowerment. If you misinterpret this sacred space as loneliness and try to forcefully insert yourself as his rescuer or constant companion, you've fundamentally misunderstood his core nature. He doesn't need to be saved from himself. Your attempts to draw him out or fill his quiet moments with your presence are not seen as caring gestures. They are viewed as an invasion. He perceives your need to constantly socialize or cure his solitude as a projection of your own inability to be alone. Your energy becomes an unwelcome intrusion on his most productive and peaceful state. The moment he feels you are trying to fill a silence he deliberately created, he will begin to withdraw. He doesn't need or want someone to complete him. He seeks someone who can respect the wholeness he has already built. His solitude is a fortified garden where he cultivates his ideas, his peace, and his strength. When you mistake this for an empty plot of land and arrive uninvited with your own seeds and tools, you are not gardening with him. You are trespassing. He did not ask for a landscaper to redesign his inner world. The very act of trying to fill his silence reveals that you find your own silence uncomfortable, and your presence becomes a demand for him to manage your discomfort instead of enjoying his own peace. His retreat from you, therefore, is not a rejection of connection, but a defense of his sacred ground. He is not leaving you. He is returning to himself. He will simply rebuild the walls you tried to dismantle, higher and stronger this time, and you will find yourself permanently on the outside. The connection is severed, not because he hates company, but because you failed to understand the profound difference between being alone and being lonely. He is the former by choice, and your actions proved you would make him the latter by force. In the end, when a Sigma male cuts you out of his life, it's never a rash or emotional decision. It's calculated, purposeful, and often silent. He doesn't sever ties out of spite or to create drama. Instead, it's about protecting his peace, his freedom, and his mental space. Whether you underestimated his perception, became a drain on his energy, or tried to limit his autonomy, the result is the same. Once he feels that a relationship no longer aligns with his values or hinders his growth, he'll walk away without looking back. The shocking truth? You may not even realize what you did to push him away because he doesn't owe you an explanation, he doesn't stay out of obligation or guilt, and he doesn't give endless chances. If you compromised his sense of self or disrespected his boundaries, he made a simple choice: to move forward without you. In the world of a Sigma male, there's no room for manipulations, control, or people who don't inspire growth. When he cuts you out, it's not a dramatic exit. It's a quiet, definitive move. And once he's gone, you'll be left wondering what went wrong. But by that point, he's already made his peace and moved on to a space that better serves his freedom and well-being. If this video resonated with you, consider subscribing to our channel for more content on the Sigma personality and other related topics. Don't forget to hit the like button and let me know your thoughts in the comments below. Thank you for watching.